to ask someone to leave the meeting. I don't anticipate having to use that, but I do want everybody to understand that I do have those abilities if we would have to. Ultimately, we want to have a great discussion and a great meeting, and I am here to facilitate it and to help along the way. So with that, I think I've covered everything the best I can. Back to you, Ms. Green.
Can I get a motion from my fellow board members to approve today's agenda with the slight modification of the agenda?
This is Henry Brown. Motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
If there are no further discussion on today's agenda, please indicate the agenda is approved by saying aye.
Aye.
Through the chair, it's Lasikia,
Yes.
Office of General Counsel. Can you do that vote by roll call for those who are participating by phone?
I sure can, not a problem. Henry Brown,
Aye.
Dan Gray,
Mr. Gray, you're now unmuted.
Okay, thank you. Aye.
and Camille Johnson, please.
Aye.
April Green, aye. Has approved unanimously. Let's move on. And Ms. Lasikia Hodges, can I please have you go over the Sunshine Law?
Yes, Lasikia Hodges, Office of General Counsel. This virtual board meeting is being held in accordance with Florida Sunshine Law and the authority under the Governor's Executive Order 20-69, which permits local government entities to conduct meetings by communication media technology.
Thank you so much. This is the time that we will actually take public comments. Please keep in mind that the public comments are limited only to the action items that we have submitted on the agenda. So we'll take about a minute or so to see if we have any text questions or any email questions, or I would say, Sean, go ahead and open the mic. And let's see if we have any public comments. Keep in mind, this is only for the action items that is on today's special meeting agenda.
Madrika, do you have any public comments that have been emailed to you through the process?
No, I do not have any email public comments.
Thank you. If anyone would like to provide public comment, please raise your hand in the tool or chat at this moment. I will wait 1 minute. I do not see anyone that has raised their hand, and I do not have anyone that has chatted asking for public comment. So at this time, I will be unmuting all of the lines, and I will ask one more time. So if anybody is on the line, if they could speak up by saying their name, I will try to capture that, and then I will call on you one at a time. I am unmuting all of the lines now. Okay, that was tough. Sorry about that. I will try that one more time. What I will ask, this is much like a radio broadcast. If you dialed in and won something on the radio, if you can turn down your volume on your computer for a second, it will help us. I will open them up one more time, so I just want to give everybody the opportunity. Anyone would like to provide public comment? Thank you. the screen. Back to you.
Okay, we will take that as there are no public comments at this time. Let's move on to the agenda. Today we will, as we've seen on the agenda, we will discuss the fuel credit for the electric system customers. We have Joe Orfano, which is our interim chief financial officer, and Carrie Stewart, who is the chief customer officer.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Madam Chair and board members. Carrie Stewart and I will be presenting, doing a brief presentation on a recommendation for a fuel credit. So Sean, if you'll take us to the PDF presentation now, that would be great.
I believe it's presented. No?
No. Here we go.
There, it should be coming back up.
Thank you. Can everyone see that?
I'm seeing nods.
Terrific. Sean, can we go to page 2, please? Thank you. So staff is recommending a fast track to a bill credit for all of our electric customers. We want to act quickly to ease the impacts on our JEA customers during this coronavirus pandemic. We've experienced lower fuel prices of late and tremendous efficiency of our generating fleet and system dispatch, which has led to improved operations and created an opportunity to share these savings with our customers during this greatest time of need. In the past 5 years, we've been typically lowering the fuel rate over time and extending that benefit out into the future. We feel that a fuel credit is the right direction for JEA's customers, and that is our recommendation. If you'll go to the next slide, Sean, please. Thank you. So how do we get to that fuel credit that averages $25 per residential customer? As of this past February, the fuel stabilization fund, I should say, was projected to be at 21% of the maximum fiscal fuel cost in the preceding 5 fiscal years at the end of this fiscal year. So at the end of September, we were anticipating a fuel fund balance 21% of that 5-year high, representing a balance of about $97 million, given no change in this fuel charge. Since this projected balance is expected to exceed the policy target of 15%, staff is recommending a fuel charge credit of approximately $27 million to provide relief to our all electric customers during the May 2020 time period, billing period, and return the year-end fuel stabilization fund balance to the projected 15% target at the end of this fiscal year. This credit would result in a bill reduction of approximately $25 per average residential customer, assuming 1,000 kilowatt hours used during the month. Over to the right, you see the average residential customer bill, the basic monthly charge, energy charge, environmental charge, and I would like to focus on the fuel charge. It's currently at $32.50 per kilowatt hour. Our recommendation is to drop that fuel charge by $24.96 to $7.54, again for a residential customer consuming 1,000 kilowatt hours in the month, so that the total bill would drop from $108.50 to $83.54. That's a drop in the fuel credit component of the bill of 77%, and the overall bill to our customers drops by 23% during the month of May. And again, in blue, you see some of the nitty-gritty behind the pricing policy. We have utilized this fuel rebate strategy in the past. The last one we did was back in 2015. In the last few years, we've opted to, as I said earlier, we've opted to lower the fuel rate. But at this time and during this pandemic, we believe that this is the right thing to do for our customers. So with that, I'll turn the presentation over to Carrie Stewart, our VP and Chief Customer Officer. Carrie?
Thank you, Joe. Sean, can you advance the slide, please? Good afternoon, board members. Thank you all for coming together today for our customers. Adding to what Joe has presented, we looked at multiple ways to process the rebate. I want to start from the right of the slide that you're looking at with checks. The pros of the checks, obviously, this is the first thing we looked at so that people could have a tangible rebate in their hands. The pros are that we can track that every customer is sent the rebate in the mail, the amount is shown clearly on the check itself, and only the customer may cash or deposit the check. The cons with checks are that checks may get lost en route or within the household. Customers would have to call JEA for a replacement check, which happens with our current check cashing process now. A portion of our customers do not have bank accounts, so would have to pay a fee to cash the check and would have to go out in public into a public building to cash that check. The cost of distributing the checks would be approximately $1.75 per check issued, which at a minimum would be about $844,000. To give you some context, JEA averages about 18,000 customer security deposit refund checks a year, and almost 20% of those are returned. Now, those people have probably moved, but to give you an idea, we only process about 18,000 customer refund checks a year. This endeavor would cause close to 500,000 energy customers being eligible to process the payments and returns, plus the cost of postage makes this not an ideal solution. So next we looked at prepaid debit cards. Customers receive what they may perceive more of a gift in the mail with this approach. It should be a customer satisfier. The third-party vendor would actually handle all of the customer questions and issues including returns. The cons with using the prepaid debit cards is that they may be lost or stolen, and they can be used unintendedly by the wrong recipient. Debit cards are not ideal for business customers, especially those who have multiple premises on one account. And the vendor would charge a processing fee for their service and restrict the values to $15 or more, and they cannot currently commit to delivery before mid-May. So finally, we looked at the bill credit option. In this way, every customer is guaranteed to receive their rebate. The amount is shown clearly on the bill. The customer does not need to take any action, and there's no additional logistical cost to JEA for issuing the rebate. The cons, obviously, is that the customer doesn't receive a tangible gift in the mail, and the customer is unable to spend the rebate directly on other uses. Rather, they get the indirect savings from the rebate. So a direct customer credit is a direct credit to the customer's bill, we believe is the most efficient way to ensure that all customers receive the rebate they are due. So our recommendation is to process the rebates in this manner. I would also like to add that if you approve this action today, the customer experience team is committed to launching a communications campaign to remind customers that while all customers receive this credit, some are far more in need of assistance than others. If any customer receives the credit and wishes to contribute it to those in need, we will provide suggestions to make it easy for them to share their credit with others impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Next slide, please, Sean. And with that, staff recommends that the board approve a fuel charge credit of approximately $27 million to customers in May of 2020. So back to you, Madam Chair, for any questions or a motion.
Thank you both to Joe and Carrie. Any questions from the board members? I'll start with Dan Gray.
No questions at this time.
Ms. Johnson, Camille Lee Johnson,
None for me.
and Henry Brown.
No questions.
Okay, this is definitely something that is needed at this time, and I want to commend the team. Thank you, Carrie and Joe, but I also want to commend the team for looking at all the avenues and ways in which we can reach out to the community and help our customers any way that we can. Can I get a motion? Can I please get a motion for the fuel credit rebate to take effect in May for all of our electric system customers?
This is Dan Gray, so move.
Thank you. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Well, I've already asked if there's any questions from the board members, so I won't do that again. Are there any public comments at this time?
Through the chair, it's Lasikia Hodges with OGC. Can you state who seconded the motion for those who are joining by phone?
I believe, who was the second from? Was that from Dan Gray?
No, that was from me, from Henry Brown.
There you go. Do you have both now, Lasikia?
Yes.
Okay. If there are no questions from the public, all in favor of approving the fuel credit for all the electric system customers to take effect in May?
Through the chair, we need a roll call vote. Just want to remind you. Lasikia Hodges.
Please indicate by saying aye, starting with Dan Gray.
Aye.
Henry Brown.
Aye.
Camille Lee Johnson.
Aye.
And myself, April Green, aye. For those opposing, that's a unanimous vote, so the fuel credit has been approved. Thank you so much. We'll move on to the next agenda item, and I will ask interim Melissa Dykes, the interim CEO Melissa Dykes, to come up and give us an update on JEA's response to this COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sean, since this was my first time off of mute, can you just nod your head and let me know you can hear me? Okay, thank you. JEA's goal throughout this pandemic situation is to provide reliable service to customers while keeping our employees and community safe. For this review, I will focus primarily on employee protections, business continuity, and customer assistance. We began early in this crisis by implementing social distancing and providing tools and resources to employees so they would not report to work sick. Given how quickly this crisis has evolved, we continue to meet every single day to discuss employee impact and additional employee protections to keep our JEA family safe. To date, all employees who are able to work from home are doing so, with equipment and support from JEA's Technology Services Group. Those who cannot are practicing social distancing except in very limited circumstances where their work makes that impossible. We staggered shifts for field crews and assigned diverse deployment sites to limit the size of employee gatherings. We distributed signage for field workers and to use and to help keep community members and customers at least 6 feet away from them while they're out in the field. And we promoted social distancing through various communications channels. We increased thorough sterilization of common areas and equipment